This is the Washington Times front page for Monday, August 8th, 2022. Thanks for starting your week with us. I'm George Gerbo. The U.S. Senate passed the Inflation Reduction Act along party lines on Sunday, pushing through the sprawling $740 billion measure that gives a scaled-down version of President Biden's goals on climate, healthcare, and tax hikes. Ramsey Touchberry reports the bill passed 51-50, with Vice President Kamala Harris casting the tie-breaking vote. The bill was passed after a marathon session that lasted most of the weekend. The measure circumvented the chamber's usual 60-vote threshold under rules for budget reconciliation. It now heads to the House, where final approval is expected later this week. Democrats estimate the bill will slash greenhouse gas emissions by 40% from 2005 levels in the next 10 years. Its clean energy provisions primarily feature tax credits that Democrats say will push consumers and sectors of the economy away from fossil fuels and toward cleaner forms of energy. The legislation also includes the extension of health insurance subsidies for Affordable Care Act recipients and allows Medicare to negotiate prescription drug prices. The spending will be paid for primarily by closing tax loopholes that allow major corporations to pay little or nothing to the federal government. Republicans said the measure will imperil an economy on the brink of recession and warn that voters will spurn Democrats' high spending in November. Nonpartisan analysts have said the package will have little or no impact on reducing inflation, especially in the short term. The bill's passage in the Senate has helped President Biden score a string of legislative and foreign policy wins over the last week. Jeff Murdoch reports Biden has been able to get a slew of significant bills through the evenly divided Senate with overwhelmingly bipartisan support, including the Inflation Reduction Act, and the past week was perhaps his most successful as president. It started with the killing of the world's most wanted terrorist and ended with the unemployment rate falling to its lowest level in 50 years. All of that could provide an unexpected boost to Democrats in the upcoming midterm elections. Speaking of the midterms, former President Trump is still the top kingmaker for Republican candidates in primaries, but Seth MacLachlan reports analysts say he's denting chances for the party to win some races in November. In Michigan, soon after Trump's endorsed candidate John Gibbs defeated incumbent Peter Meijer in a Republican House primary last week, prognosticators downgraded the party's chances to hold that seat in the general election. Some Republican leaders fear the same scenario will play out in races in Arizona, where candidates espousing Trump's false claims of a stolen election won primaries for governor and Senate. That could widen the gulf for the GOP in those races. You can read all of these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. You can also find our entire lineup of news, commentary, and sports podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. The sprawling Hunter Biden probe is hurtling toward a conclusion, and former prosecutors who have followed the case say signs point to a generous guilty plea deal. Jeff Murdoch reports prosecutors who have watched the case predict it will end with a guilty plea to minor tax or gun charges in exchange for a light sentence. But Chris Clark, a lawyer representing Hunter Biden in the Delaware case, disputed predictions that it will end in a guilty plea. Hunter Biden has not been charged with wrongdoing, but investigators have been looking into suspected violations of federal tax and gun laws. He's also under federal scrutiny for suspicion of money laundering and violation of foreign lobbying requirements tied to his overseas business dealings. The candy industry is warning that Americans will pay more for chocolate bars this Halloween as supply chain shortages lag behind an appetite for sweets. In their half-year reports last month, Sean Salai reports Pennsylvania-based Hershey Company and Switzerland-based Nestle said pandemic-driven global supply chain disruptions and the Russia-Ukraine war have made cocoa and other ingredients scarcer and more expensive. The maker of Nestle Crunch announced a 6.5% price increase to offset lower profit margins amid significant and unprecedented cost inflation. Nestle expects an 8% increase in sales this year, up from its previous 5% estimate. According to Information Resources Incorporated, domestic sales of chocolate, non-chocolate candy, gum, and mints grew 11.3% year over year to hit $30 billion during the 52 weeks that ended July 10th. And finally, pilots with U.S. Air Force Special Operations Command, trained to fly some of the most sophisticated planes ever built, will soon have a new bird in their fleet, the Crop Duster. Mike Glenn reports the Pentagon picked the AT-802U Skywarden to be built by Florida-based L3 Harris Technologies and Texas-based Air Tractor as its main light attack aircraft specifically designed to support Special Operations Forces. The contract, initially $170 million, will provide up to 75 aircraft and maintenance support as part of Special Operations Command's Armed Overwatch program. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.